Hey guys, so today we're going to learn applications of linear systems. But before we get started, I want to go through some steps for helping you set up the problems and then solving. Okay, so the first step is I want you to make sure you read the problem. And then I want you to decide if we have one rate of change or two rates of change. So if you have one rate of change, it's typically going to be y equals mx plus b form. If you have two rates of change, it's typically going to be in the ax plus by equals c. Okay? Once you do that, we are going to set up two equations. And please make sure you define your variables. Okay. Next thing I want you to do is solve the system of equations with the method of your choice. Then the last thing is to make sure to answer the question you are looking for. Okay, so let's get started. Here we have example 1. Example 1 says the sum of two numbers is 53. So I want you to think about what it means when it says the sum of two numbers is 53. Okay, so that just means some number added to some number is 53. Okay, let's read the next part. If twice the first number minus 3 times the second number is 26. So let's look at that. So twice the first number. So we could let this be represented as 2x minus 3 times the second number. So we could have 2x minus 3y is 26. Okay? So that means x is representing our first number and y is representing our second number. Okay, so if you want to pause the video and go solve the system by yourself, you can, because there's many different ways. We've learned substitution, when you learned elimination. You could solve for y, you could solve for x, you could eliminate the x, you can eliminate the y. There's so many different ways. So if you want to pause the video, you can, and then come back and see if you solved it correctly. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate the x's. So I'm going to multiply everything on that first one by a -2. So I'm going to have -2x, -2y equals, and then 53 times -2 is a -106. And then this one I'm not going to change at all, so I'm just going to write it. Okay. So 2x, -2x plus 2x is gone. -2y minus 3y is a -5y. -106 plus 26 gives you a -80. And then when I divide by the -5, I get y equals 16. So remember in class I said I always go back to the original. So I'm going to plug it in right there. So x plus 16 equals 53. And then I'm going to minus 16 minus 16. X equals 37. So the question says just to find both numbers. So that means we have the numbers 37 and 16. That is what would satisfy the scenario. Okay, now you're more welcome to pause the video and try setting up example 2 before I do, and then pause it again or unpause it, check it to see if you're right, and then pause it again and solve it, okay? But it's up to you. The Boy Scouts are selling popcorn at the parade to raise money for their camping trip. Ethan sold 9 bags and then 2 large bags and made $36.05. Jack sold 5 small bags and 7 large bags and made $48. So think about what we have going on. We have small bags of popcorn. And then we have large bags of popcorn. So this is kind of like the one I mentioned above when we have 2 rates of changes. So this part, okay, we're going to have 9 small bags plus 2 large bags equal $36.05. Jack sold 5 bags, 7 large, and made $48. Okay, so now you can choose whichever method you would like to eliminate or substitute, or however you want to solve it. So I'm going to do elimination, and I'm going to eliminate my large bag, so my L. So I'm going to multiply the top one by a -7. I'm going to multiply the bottom one by a 2 to get opposites. So -7 times the top gives me a -63 S minus 14L equals, let me see if I can scoot these over a little bit. Equals -252.35, and then everything doubled on the bottom would give us 10S plus 14L equals 96. So now I'm going to add this. So this gives us a -53S equals, and then -252.35 plus 96 gives us a -156.35. And then when we divide by the -53, S equals 295. Okay, so then we're going to go plug that in. So I'm going to use the bottom one this time. So 5 times 2.95 plus 7 times L equals 48. 5 times $2.95 gives us 14.75. We're going to subtract that from both sides. So 7L equals 33.25. And then when we divide by 7, squeeze it over here, we get $4.75. So you would just tell me that a small popcorn is $2.95. And then you would tell me a large popcorn is 4.75. And this will be our answer for this one. Okay, so again on example 3, if you would like to pause it, go ahead and see if you can set it up. If not, we will get started. Okay, so let's see what we got going on. CJ has a collection of pennies with a value of $1.98. So I want you to think about what just happened right there. Okay, pennies have a value of what? 0.01. Nickels have a value of what? 0.05. Together, they have a value of $1.98. So that means 0.01 P plus 0.05 N equals 1.98. So notice what I did. I made P stand for pennies and N stand for nickels. Okay, so let's go read the next line. The number of pennies he has is 5 less than twice the number of nickels. So let's go through it. The number of pennies he has, that's a P, is means equal. 5 less than. When you see something like this, that means it goes in the back. So I'm going to write 5 minus 5, okay? And then twice the number of nickels is 2n. So we're going to have P equals 2n minus 5. Okay. Now, this problem is actually set up for substitution. So I'm not going to change my problem. I am going to go ahead and just substitute. Now, if you want to do elimination, that is completely fine. You go ahead and rearrange however you would like. So I'm going to have 0.01 times 2n minus 5 plus 0.05n equals 1.98. So we've got to distribute right here. And when you do, you get 0.02n minus 0.05 plus 0.05n equals $1.98. Okay, now notice I have some like terms right here, so I'm going to go ahead and add them together. So basically 2 cents plus 5 cents is 7 cents. Okay, I'm going to add this 5 cents over. So I get 0.07n equals $2.03. And then I'm going to divide by 0.07. And if we did it correct, we will have no decimals, because remember, we're looking for how many coins does CJ have. And when you divide, you get 29. So that means 29 nickels. Okay, so we're going to take that and we're going to put it right here. So we're going to have pennies are equal to 2 times 29 minus 5. And when you work that out, 2 times 29, yeah, I was making sure I was right, it was 58. And then minus 5 gives us 53. So, and my pen stopped working, so I paused the video for a second so I can write and 53 pennies. Okay, so I think I got everything back and working, so I'm going to fix this real quick and say and 53 pennies. Okay, let's go to example 4. So pre-orders for the yearbook cost $38 each with a full price cost of $45. Okay, if 24 students in Mr. Scott's advisory class purchase yearbooks for a total of $975, how many students pre-ordered and how many bought their yearbook at full price? So think about what we have going on. We have pre-orders, which I'm going to let that be my X, and then, well, I'll just write it out. So X will be pre-order, and then we also have it at full price. Okay, so notice what we have going on. We want to know how many there is of each. So if you look, we don't know how many there is of each, but we do know that 24 students bought. So that means X plus Y equals 24. Okay. Then we know that pre-orders cost $38. Full price costs $45 for a total of $975. So notice I put all the money together. So $38 for pre-orders, $45 for full, and then that's $975. Okay, so now like I said before, you can pause the video and solve it however you would like, but if not, I'm going to go and get started. I'm going to multiply the top one by negative 38 to cross out my x's. So I'm going to have negative 38x negative 38y, and then that is going to equal negative 912. This bottom one, I'm not changing. Okay, so I'm going to add these. Negative 38 plus 45 is a 7y. Negative 912 plus 975 is a 63. And when we divide by 7, we get a 9. So we're going to take that 9, and I'm going to put it right there. So x plus 9 equals 24. Subtract the 9. We get x equals 15. So what does that mean we got? We got 15 pre-orders and 9 full price. Okay, so I hope this video makes sense. If not, talk to me in class.